Allow her to do everything. So when we first start dating someone, it can be very tempting to try and force things. It can be very tempting to try and push the interaction, to try and pin that other person down into a relationship, especially if you're someone who is really desperately seeking a relationship. So the best thing to do when you are dating someone new, especially if this person is a woman who you're dating, is better to let her come to you at her own pace. So the best thing to do when you start dating a woman is to ask her out roughly around once a week, or it could be once every 2 weeks, so you two can start getting to know each other. First of all, on your first date, you'll probably want to meet up for just something like a drink, so then you can get to know her, and then you can easily kind of leave that situation if you can feel that you two are not vibing. But or you can easily extend the date if you two are vibing, if you are getting on well with each other. But the idea is that you want to basically keep contact with her as minimum as possible and wait for her to start reaching out to you more. So you perhaps reach out to her once a week or once every 2 weeks, arrange a date with her, and then she begins to see that, oh, this guy or this woman, depending on your sexuality, only reaches out to me once a week or once every 2 weeks. If I want to start seeing them more, then I'm probably going to have to start reaching out to them more. If you're enjoying the video so far, then please leave a like on it and please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if there's anything you'd like me to discuss in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments, or if you have any tips and advice yourself. Thank you so much. So when she starts developing feelings for you, that's when you'll see that she starts initiating contact with you. And because she's initiating contact with you, you can always just ask her out again, and then you two start to see each other more and more. So basically how I did this in my own life, like when I met my wife, we met on Tinder, and within like the first few hours of us matching, I had already set up a date with her. I already had her Facebook information because I wanted to make sure that she wasn't a catfish or something like that. So it's always good to do that when you're on dating sites. You know, when you start chatting to someone who you want to meet up with, someone who you really like, it's always good to ask for their other social media details so you can kind of suss whether or not this person is a catfish. Within those first interactions, I had asked for her Facebook information. We added each other on Facebook. And then I asked her out on a date, and I set up the date like about a week in advance. We went on the date, and then I asked her out again another week later. And after those first two initial dates, she started talking to me a lot more. And because she started talking to me a lot more, I started arranging more dates with her a lot more. And so we went through a phase of where we would only see each other once a week. And then we started seeing each other just on the weekends. And then eventually she would come and see me during the week. So therefore we would see each other on like the Wednesday, and we would spend the weekend together. And then eventually we moved both in together and started that relationship. We became more committed to each other. So that's basically how it went, you know, but I waited for her to come to me more. Like in my head, I was just saying to myself, well, I'm just going to ask her out once a week and only see her once a week. And then because after a couple of dates, she started contacting me more. She started coming to me more, felt comfortable to come to me more because she was quite shy. That's when we started to see each other more, because each time she reached out to me, each time she initiated contact with me, I let it known that I would love to see her, love to hang out with her, and we would arrange a get together. So that's kind of what you need to do. This is how you let this is how you can let this girl that you like come to you when you start dating them. So it's really important to do this because it allows her to feel what she feels. It allows her to think about you. But where I see a lot of people going wrong is they kind of want the relationship instantly. Like they don't want to do the once a week thing. You know, they always want to be in her DMs, contacting her, basically seeking her validation to see where they stand all the time, basically. Because yeah, it can be frustrating, and even I felt this when I started dating my wife. It's like, oh gosh, I haven't heard from her in a few days. I really want to message her, but I had to restrain myself and say, well, no, I've made a commitment to only ask her out every few days, every 5 days. It was at that time, at the very beginning. I've got to wait it out, give her more time to think about it. And then I'll contact her. Instead of like, oh God, it's been 24 hours and I haven't heard from her, I need to message her. I stopped myself from doing that. I waited the 5 days that I committed myself to doing, and then I asked her out, and it went fine. Like, she said yes, and we went out and had another date. You have to stop yourself from over messaging someone who you're not in a relationship with, because a lot of people think, oh, I've been on one date with a girl, or oh, we've matched on this dating website, therefore she must really like me, I'm going to chat to her all night, all day. And basically what this does, it just ruins the romance, it ruins the love story, because at the beginning of a courtship, it is a little bit mysterious. You have to, in order for it to be romantic, it has to be mysterious. But if you're always in her DMs and she knows basically that you'll do anything for her, and she knows that you really, really like her, it ruins the mystery, and it kind of makes it boring. So at the beginning of a courtship, you need to make it interesting. You need to make it romantic and mysterious, because that's what she wants. Because at this current time, she doesn't know you very well. So if you're already like, yes ma'am, I love you, let's have marriage and kids straight away, it's going to make her confused, it's going to make her feel uneasy, because she hasn't developed those feelings for you yet. She'll start developing those feelings over the weeks that you date her and only see her once a week. And that's kind of what you need to aim for. If you're wondering where to actually find the right partner for you so you can start dating like the right kind of women, then I highly recommend that you watch this video on how to attract the right partner. So when you ask a girl out, ask her out, make a date with her, make it the arrangements. So that means a time, a date, and a place. And the best way you can do this is to just ask her when she is available, and then you can look at your calendar and say, well, she said she's available on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not available on Sunday, so I'll meet her on Saturday. And then you say to her, how about we meet at this place at this time on Saturday, because you said you're free Saturday. And if she really likes you, she will say yes, and she'll go out with you. And then you have that date, you have a good time, you make it fun, interesting. And then you wait a few days. So like, I personally wait 5 days. That's what I did with my wife. Then you ask her out again. You say, hey, I'd really love to see you. When are you next available to hang out for a date? That's what you say. And then she'll give you the times when she's available, and you'll do the process again. You'll go out, have another fun, interesting date, get to know each other, and then eventually she will start reaching out to you. She'll see that, oh, this person only asks me out once a week or once every 2 weeks. I need to start contacting them more if I want to start seeing them more. I'm falling in love. I want to see them more. I'm really interested in them. And that's what will happen, because she will become a little bit unsure of herself, because she'll be thinking, oh, he or she hasn't contacted me in a few days. I need to contact them and see if they still like me or something like that. And then all you need to do is just welcome them with open arms and be like, hey, it's great to hear from you. I'd love to hang out with you. When are you available to hang out next? That's all you need to do. And that's how you allow her to come to you. And when you two do enter a relationship, or it looks like it's heading that way, she'll probably be the one to bring up. She'll probably be asking you stuff like, oh, where's this going? Or are you dating anyone else? So from my own experience, I started dating my wife at the end of September, and then we ended up in a more committed relationship in November. So that's, gives you a bit of a time frame. So it's about 4 to 6 weeks, roughly. That is when you can start entering that relationship. But you need to do the process. You need to hang out with her once a week, and then wait for her to start reaching out to you more and more. And when she reaches out to you more and more, you can facilitate new dates where you can start seeing each other more and more, and then you'll eventually end up in that relationship. And it may be a case that she may not even bring up the fact that she wants to be in a relationship, because I know this kind of thing happens. It's usually a teenager thing to do when you're like, oh, do you want to be my girlfriend, or do you want to be my boyfriend? Like, no one asks that when they're adults, right? It just kind of happens. Like, no, it's not even said. It's just kind of like this unspoken kind of contract that you two are seeing each other a lot. You start meeting each other's parents, and you kind of are just in a relationship, and no one really needed to even say that, do you want to be in a relationship with me? It doesn't usually go like that. It didn't happen with me anyway. It just happened. We didn't have a conversation about it. So it could be a case that that might happen as well. And it's the same with things like having kids and marriage as well. Like she will bring those up when she is ready to hear those things and want those things. You know, she'll probably bring up another conversation of like, oh, what would you name your kids, or something like that. That lets you know that she is thinking about having children with you. Or if you're in a relationship, she may ask you, where's this going? We've been together for a while, and that's probably her cue for you to. That's her way of saying to you, I want something more committed, I want to get married, or something like that. But usually she will bring these kinds of topics up when she is ready. So just allow her to do these things. You just, arrange the dates, make the decisions, because if you're a man, that's what she wants from you. She wants you to make the choices. Like, especially if you're dealing with someone, a woman who's very, very feminine. Like, it takes my wife ages to figure out what to wear. It takes me like 2 minutes. So, she's not good at decision making, and a lot of feminine women are not very good at decision making. So you have to be the one that arranges the time, arranges the place, asks her out on dates. You're the one that needs to do that to begin with. It's really important that you are the one to do that within the first few dates. Sometimes then when she starts to feel more comfortable around you, she'll probably feel a bit more comfortable making a few more decisions. But if she's very feminine, she doesn't want to make decisions. You're the one who's got to make the choices. Because if it takes her an hour to figure out what kind of outfit she wants to wear, it's going to take her ages to figure out where to go to eat and stuff like that. And she doesn't want to make those decisions. She would rather you make those decisions for her. She would rather that you are the one that makes those plans. So be decisive and go for it and make those plans. Be the bold one, because if she's feminine, she's not very bold. She's not going to be the bolder person out of the two. You're going to be the more bolder one if you are masculine. So you have to make those bold, concrete decisions, and that's what's going to make you look even more attractive to her. Like if you say to her, how about I meet you here at this place at this time, she'll be like, yeah, that's great. Because if she likes you, she's obviously not going to toy with those times or those places unless she doesn't like those places. So for example, let's say you suggest you go to a steakhouse and she's like, oh no, I don't like going there because I had a bad experience at the bar, or something, like I don't like the owner or something like that. Then okay, well, we won't go there. So she may change the plans a little bit. So if it's something like that, then just go with it and be like, okay, well, I know this other place, how about this one? And then she'll probably be like, yeah, that's fine. So there may be little things like that, but don't see them as like tests or anything like that. Just give her the options, make the decisions, and she'll be very happy to go along with it if she likes you. And this is all very freeing because you don't really have to do that much. All you need to do is just plan and arrange the dates, allow her to come, have a great time. And then eventually, if she really likes you, you two will end up in a relationship. But just don't spoil the mystery by over messaging, by texting her too much. In between dates, try and keep the conversations as short as possible, because the best way you get to know someone is in person. Really try to avoid getting to know people over Messenger and things like that. We, as human beings, we are not wired to get to know people that way. We have been evolving for hundreds, thousands of years. I think I've said this before on my videos. If things like email, texting, stuff like that has only been around for a few decades, we are literally not wired to get to know people in this kind of way. It's better to get to know people face to face, in person. So if you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon.